Do you feel like you could give up right now? Well, for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about how not to give up. So in this season, we have been connecting with a lot of people from our church, in our family, in our neighborhoods, and people are really suffering in this season. So many people want to give up. So many people are done fighting. They are throwing in the towel, and they're just ready to quit. So I want to talk today about not giving up. I want to talk about why we shouldn't give up. And it says in Hebrews 10, verse 35 and 36, do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. And I want to talk to you today about God's promise. There's a story in the Bible, in the book of Joshua, and it's actually Joshua and a bunch of Israelites, and God promised them the land of Jericho. That was their promised land. But it took them a little while to get there, and some kind of weird and strange things in order to get that promised land. And
but I think that's important, right? Like, it wasn't just like there was a promise, and then it just takes, there was actually a process to the promise.
Oh, there was a big process. So I'm going to just share with you a few things that they had to do. So here God says he's delivered Jericho into their hands, but they had to march around this city with all of their armed men. They had to do it for 6 days. They had to have priests carrying trumpets and horns and making music. And on the 7th day, they had to walk around the city 7 times.
So they got their 10,000 steps in.
Oh, absolutely. They got their 10,000 steps in probably every single day. And when you hear them sound a long blast on the trumpets, have all the people give a loud shout, and then the wall of the city will collapse, and the people will go up, and every man will go straight in. So that huge wall that was blocking them from that promised land would come down. And when I think about wanting to throw in the towel and wanting to quit, can you imagine if they stopped at lap 6 of 7?
Yeah.
You know, they were tired. It was probably hot. They were probably feeling ridiculous playing their instruments and trying to do what God had asked them to do. And they probably started to lose sight of what it was that they were doing. And they probably wanted to quit. And, you know, I think about our daughter, Haley, who is 10, going on 11, going on 16. And she is a lot like me. When she does something and it doesn't work, she gives up so fast. She loses her mind and stomps up the stairs and freaks out and says she never wants to do it again, and
Do you
she's
find
done.
that annoying?
No, not at all.
I'm just wondering.
She's literally a mirror image of me. So I will say that there's a million times in my life, especially right now in this season, where I feel like quitting, where I feel like throwing in the towel. And I feel like there's a huge brick wall in my way of what I know that God has promised me on the other side. But I want you to hear this. God said, I have delivered the promised land to you. Not I will, or I'm going to, or I might, but he already has. And how many times in our life has God already promised something to us, but we actually have to walk through the steps of faith to get to that promise? And so many times we want to throw in the towel and say, God, maybe if just like one brick could fall off the wall so I know that I'm like moving in the right direction, maybe one brick here, one brick here. No, the entire wall fell on the 7th day after the 7th lap around that building. And I think it's encouraging to hear that just because we don't see God moving, it's just like that worship song, right? We know that he's moving. He's always moving. He always has our best interests at heart. So I want to encourage you today, if you are feeling like you are ready to throw in the towel, you are ready to give up. Maybe you are battling a sickness and you just don't feel like you're getting better, or maybe you've been praying for something and you're just not seeing God come through with an answer or the answer that you're looking for, or maybe you're just tired.
You're fed up with your kids acting the way you know they're not supposed to, because you know God's called them to do something awesome.
Absolutely.
They're being brutal right now. Yeah, no, I get it.
Are you talking from personal experience?
I'm just saying. Maybe even in your own marriage, you feel like your own marriage, it feels like, man, no, I'm not saying, should I know something? Maybe in our own marriage, you're like, I feel like giving up because it's not what I felt God had promised me. It's not going the way I thought. It's hard right now.
If you give up now, then you're going to miss out on the blessing that God has for that situation in your life. So I want to encourage you today, don't give up. Hold on to the promise of God because it's coming.
You said something to me that really, really hit. You said that he said to them, like, this is the promise. I'm giving it to you. You already have. Mm-hmm. God doesn't see things the way we see things. We see things linearly, right? We see things like, if I do this, then this, then this, and this. God actually looks at it, and he's outside of time. So when he says, I'm giving you this promise, it's already been given and it's already been done. But that's what's crazy. We just have to catch up to that spot.
And
right?
we also don't think like God. So he asked them to do all these instruments and walk around this building, and it was weird to us, but that's weird to us.
Yeah.
God might have a totally different way of getting to something, and we just need to follow through. We just need to have faith and take that next step and that next step.
So I want to encourage you today. What we're saying is don't give up. We're challenging you to have faith. We're challenging you to walk in obedience to what God's called you to walk in, right? We're challenging you to realize that God has already done the miracle you're looking for. You just got to catch up to it. And so today, we want to encourage you. Don't give up. Persevere and endure, because God's up to something awesome.